I'm not even sure if you can hear me, but I'm gonna talk anyway. I had someone message me and asked about how to purge, how to release the things in their life that are kind of holding them where they are, right? And I think when people think of purging, they think of like, okay, I just have to get rid of stuff. It's gonna make space, and that's great. And that's not wrong, but the thing is, if you're purging and you don't release the mental load behind that, the old conditioning, the programming, everything that you've held on to your whole life and learned and believed, if you're holding on to all of that, then how do you expect to get rid of all of this stuff and not have it all kind of fall back into place, maybe with new stuff, whatever that feels like, but all that clutter is still there mentally. And if you get rid of it physically, you're likely going to call all of that right back in, right? Because what you haven't done is the internal work. You haven't purged the things that really matter to allow you to release that conditioning to move on to the next version of yourself, who is then able to get rid of the physical things that old version of you is no longer holding on to, because you are not that version anymore. You've moved through that. And so I started sending this text, and it was so long, and I'm like, I'm just gonna make a video because I need you to understand that it's not just a simple thing. Yes, you start somewhere. It can be simple. You have to look at it as simple. So looking at it in a simple aspect for the physical portion of this is like going and making your plan, right? I'm a planner. I like to have a plan. Not everybody is like that, so to each their own. However, it's a process. So there's a girl that I follow, or I saw a post from a long time ago, a reel, and she always talked about like a 10-minute tidy, or whatever minute period you want to do, but she would take a basket and go and pick up everything, put away what she could, and clean that one space for 10 minutes, set a timer, 10 minutes. And then when the timer went off, put everything down, accumulate everything that didn't get put away, and go move it to where it needs to go and leave it for the following day. And I liked that idea because, hello, projector, and we'll get more into the whole human design of things, but as a non-sacral being, I do not create my own energy. And so I always found myself getting crazy burnt out really quick in comparison to a lot of other people. And it never made sense to me, but I always overdid it. I lived my life as a generator when that is not what I meant to be. And so I would go, and then I'd be burnt out for a week, right? And so I adapted this. Not necessarily always with a timer, which I am the queen of timers, so let me know if you need help with that, but we do a quick tidy. So it could be the kids are getting ready in the morning, I'm already ready to go, and I take that short period of time and I clean the bathroom, or whatever that looks like, right? But it's different for everyone. Sometimes it's as simple as having your bomb basket, which I loved this concept of bomb basket, and you just pick up all the stuff in that one room that's on the floor, throw it in the basket, and go put everything in that basket away, and then you're done for the day. And then you don't get worked up. You don't have to hold on to that anxiety or that stress of like, oh my God, I have to go get all this done too. No, nope. But it is always good to adapt, especially for mamas, because there is more work. I don't care what anybody says. The more kids you have, the more work there is, the more cleanup you have to do, the more pickup, the more coaching them and keeping after themselves. But I'm a big fan of a load a day for laundry in the dishwasher. The dishwasher is always filled up and always ran every single day. One of my kids unloads it, one of them loads it, and I run it, or her husband runs it. And that makes sure that that's getting done. We all have our chores in the house, and it's a nice, easy way to kind of widespread the workload, right? Now my kids are at an age now that they can do it. Do I find myself fixing things? Absolutely. But they're learning, and that's a beautiful thing. So I've adapted that with this whole declutter, this whole cleanup phase, because when it comes to decluttering and purging, the mess on top of the clutter is a battle all on its own. And that's how I saw it. I saw it as a huge battle. And I was like, okay, let's remove that. Those words, huge battle. That's not good. So by removing those words, when you notice that you're using something heavy or difficult, it helps make it lighter. And so I adapted things. I found things found me. Ideas showed up that I was like, oh, let's try that. And they work. I always have a load of laundry in the washer, ready to go. Not ran, ready to go for when I'm ready to do it. There's always a load in the dryer or on the dry rack. And then a load going in a basket up to be put away, dispersed, and collected the new laundry. And every day, almost every day. But it helps keep things moving in an unpressured way, that it feels like I can handle it, because I am not a generator. It's all about figuring out your process, figuring out what feels good for you, because you know what? If you are still living pre-mamahood or as a single in your mind, you haven't yet adjusted. And so your conditioning has not caught up. You've conditioned yourself to still believe that things have to be done the old way. But you have changed, you have shifted, you have grown. And that is where new adaptations have to come in, right? We have to shift, we have to adjust. She had mentioned that this is where she struggles. And I said, look, you said it. You're gonna say this is where you struggle, where this is hard for you, where this is the thing that you just can't do or don't want to do or whatever that is, but you're telling yourself these things. You're telling yourself it's hard. You're telling yourself it's a struggle. You're telling yourself that you can't let go, that you can't move on, all of these things, because you're stuck. You are who you are, but we can change that, right? So when you're stuck or you're struggling or it's hard, your mind is going through this process that is going through all of the things that you have learned, all of the things that you have been told from the time that you were born and being raised, through your periods of school, through your work life, through your friends, through your family, through your colleagues, through your mentors, anyone in your life. That's where your conditioning comes from. And so you've taken on these little bits from everybody and these beliefs, and they've created you. And that's beautiful. But somewhere along the line, you've picked up energy or beliefs that aren't yours, and that doesn't serve you. And so all of that piles onto us. And when it piles onto us, it gets heavy. And sometimes we hold on to that in the form of physical things. And so we're now collecting all this stuff that we really probably don't need. I know I don't. I know I have lots of stuff that I've accumulated because there have been places in my life where it's been a lack mentality, right? And so there's the belief for some people that I have to hold on to this because I'm not going to be able to get it again, or it's going to be really hard to find, or it's a family heirloom, or I'm not going to be able to afford it, right? And so all of these are beliefs, and they connect you to that thing, which then holds space. And by releasing these things that aren't necessarily ours, like For example, my mother, God bless her soul, she still has paintings and pictures and stuff from when I was in kindergarten and before, right? And like all these things, all these crafts and whatever. And I'm like, get rid of them. Make space. Use that space for the things that you want, and then you're not holding on to it. It's not clutter. And it frees up that energy, right? She's like, I can't do it. I'm like, just saying. Just saying. If I had it, I'd be throwing it in the garbage. So now take that and put it into your life. So I grew up with that, and I found myself holding on to the most ridiculous things. And even still, I'm like, okay, well, I spent my money on that. I should keep it just in case I need it. Or, well, I could probably sell it for a little bit. And I'm like, I just don't care anymore. I'm like, we've taken so much stuff to donate lately, and it's felt so good because it's perfectly good things that we're not using anymore. And there are going to be families and kids and people who are really actually looking for that, and they're literally manifesting finding those good deals by me just going and dropping it all off, and someone else is going to claim it, right? And that's how that people get what you want. It's all energy. And yes, a lot of things I could have just gone and sold, absolutely, but I am not in a lack mindset. The money's already gone. The energy has already been put out there, and now it's a matter of calling it all back in, calling all the things that I now want as this version of me in, and it's all flowing, right? But I've made space. So where can you make the space? Where energetically are you holding on to past hurts or traumas or beliefs that really just aren't serving the version of you that you desire to be? And I'll take it one step further, as in, yes, you may desire to be that version, but that version is actually you. You desire it because it's a remembering of who you actually are here to be, not just an idea of this possibility. But you do have to pull the ideas out to even make it an awareness, to make that become the version of you. It's a whole beautiful, crazy spiritual thing, but I kind of deep dove down this hole that I'm very excited to share with everybody, because that's how this world works. As you gain information, it all came from somewhere, and you share it, right? You have these thought processes that pull it all out. And when it comes back to the purging, you need to purge that old version of you to then purge the things, so that you're not calling all those things back in to fill that space that aren't actually of the new version of you that you are transitioning into. We have to advance with ourselves. We have to create our growth, find out who we are now, because who we are today is not who we were yesterday. I also had the same person ask me, how are you feeling back to your old self once? And I was like, nope. And I never want to be, because I never want to be that old version of me, because that's going backwards. I want to be the new version of me. I want to be healthier. I want to be happier. I want to be stronger. I want to be more in all aspects of my life, so that I can teach my kids to be more and better and kind and grateful and purpose driven, right? And finding those ways and those things and that information and that knowledge and those desires. That is the beauty of life. It's not living and replaying old past versions of you, or old stories that happened to you, or whatever the drama is that so-and-so said that's not true, that you're reliving, and you're like, why did they do that to me? Because they weren't your people. that's a whole other topic, but moving back to the purging. The purging is a process. And that's okay. That's beautiful. The fact that you even want to start is amazing. It's amazing because we have to move forward. If you're holding on to high school or from old houses that you think might fit into your next house, or whatever that is for you, old running shoes, clothes, all the things. Maybe it's the appliances that you might use once this year. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Adjust when the time comes. If you absolutely need to have it again, you will find a way to have it. It will find its way to you, but guess what? If you open up the space, you are going to have so much more peace and satisfaction, that feeling of success. All of that will come flooding in because you have made the decision to become the version of you that you want to be. Because it's you remembering this is who you're here to be. It's the goals and the dreams and the desires and the change that you're wanting to make in the world. It's beautiful. Same.